If you're building a drag car, you already know it's either Turbo 400 or Powerglide. If you're an avid motorhead, the truth is that they are both incredible transmissions, but they do entirely different jobs. If you pick the wrong one, good luck winning races. Let's look at actual pros and cons and figure out which one fits your build. Starting with the Turbo 400, we already know how tough they are, even if you just pulled it out of Grandpa's tractor. Wait, I don't even know if they came from tractors. Hold up. Did they put any in tractors? Apparently they did not have them in tractors. Anyway, Turbo 400s are 3-speed automatics. The number we need to focus on here is 2.48. That is the first gear ratio. For the guys who don't know, think of like that 2.48 gear like a giant crowbar. It gives your engine a massive amount of leverage to like move the car from a dead stop. So that's exactly why they use it for drag racing. That steep 2.48 gear takes whatever horsepower the Junkyard LS is making and multiplies it, basically getting that whole chassis out of the hole. You don't need 1,000 horsepower to cut a good 60 foot if your gearing is doing the heavy lifting for you. There's another massive benefit for the street guys. I mean, I know in this video we're talking about drag racing, but if you're talking about turbo guys, because it's a 3-speed, the RPM drop between gears isn't a cliff. When you make the 1 to 2 shift into that 1.48 second gear, the engine stays right at the meat of the power band. If you have a big lazy single turbo on a 6.0 liter, keeping those RPMs means you don't fall out of that boost on the shift. But it's not a perfect transmission. A lot of motorheads already know the internals of a Turbo 400 are massive. All those heavy drums and planetary gears take actual horsepower to spin. It's called parasitic drag. You are going to lose more wheel horsepower through a Turbo 400 than almost any other race transmission just to turn the guts inside the case. And a quick tip for guys actually building one of these in their garage, the factor intermediate sprag might be dangerous. If you are pushing real power and don't upgrade to at least a 34 element sprag, you are going to scatter parts all over the track on your first to second shift, so don't skip that. If the Turbo 400 is a 20-pound sledgehammer, the Powerglide is a scalpel. It is a 2-speed transmission, just 2 gears, right? It's usually used for dragsters, first and 1-to-1 ratio in a high gear. That's it. Factory glides usually have like a 1.76 first gear, and an aftermarket builds usually upgrade to like a 1.80 gear, straight cut gear set. Now, if you're paying attention about a minute ago, you'll know that a 1.8 is much taller gear than a 2.48. It doesn't give you that massive torque multiplication off the line. So why do the fastest guys on the track swear by it? It's all about the traction and managing the hit. If you have a lightweight gutted race chassis, let's say a 2,600 pound Foxbody or like a stripped out Foxbody Mustang or like a Camaro, and you're making 1,000 plus horsepower on like a small tire, a 400 is going to be your worst nightmare. The second you let go of the trans brake, the aggressive 2.48 gear will shock the tires so violently that it instantly breaks traction. You just sit there spinning. The Powerglide tames the hit. The taller 1.8 first gear softens the blow to the rear tires. It allows the car to actually dead hook and smoothly roll power in. It basically just stops you from blowing the tires off. That's basically it. But on top of that, the Glide has a massive horsepower advantage. The internal parts are incredibly small and light compared to a 400. That means significantly less parasitic drag. You're putting way more of your engine's actual power directly to the rear wheels. And because it's only 2 gears, the car only has to shift once all the way down the track. One shift means less chance of upsetting the suspension and less chance of breaking apart halfway down the strip. But here's a massive red flag and the reason you just don't blindly throw a Glide into a street car. But again, we're talking mostly about drag. If you put a Powerglide in a heavy 3,600 pound street car making 500 horsepower, the car is going to be an absolute dog. Without the leverage of first gear, your engine is going to bog trying to get all that weight moving. Also, because there's only 2 gears, the RPM drop when you shift from first to second is massive. If your torque converter isn't spec'd absolutely perfectly by a professional, the RPMs will drop like a rock on the shift, and you will fall out of that power band, and your pass is basically just ruined. And that was a part of the bit. There's no way you're going to see a Powerglide on the street. And for the hardcore builders, yes, a built Glide can hold around 3,000 horsepower, but a junkyard factory aluminum Glide case, it will literally split in half under big torque. If you are pushing serious power, you'll have to throw the factory case in the trash and just buy an aftermarket SFI approved case, like a reed case, plus upgrade the input shaft. By the time you build a Powerglide to hold 1,000 horsepower, you are spending a massive amount of money. But let's put it all together. We talked about the gearing, the weight, the parasitic drag, but what does that actually mean for the hunk of metal sitting in your garage? Let's just make this simple with an ultimate cheat sheet of what a chassis and engine combos belong with each transmission. Let's start with the Turbo 400. If your car weighs over 3,200 pounds, has full glass, door panels, and still occasionally drive it when you go to get ice cream, you need a turbo 400. This is for absolutely like go for heavy like street driven G bodies like the Monte Carlos, and for like full weight 4th gen Camaros and Trans Ams and heavy truck builds like a C10 or an NBS Silverado. These are heavy bricks, so you kind of need that 2.4 8 gear to get them moving. As for engines, the 400 is perfect match for like a heavy iron block 6.0 or like a LQ4 or a budget 5.3 with a big lazy single turbo, because those budget cast iron LS setups make great mid-range torque, but sometimes can kind of take a second to spool massive like GT45 turbo. The 3-speed will keep making the RPMs right in the sweet spot, so it'll kind of never fail you. And it's just pretty common to see in like your traditional big block Chevys. They'll take like a mountain of torque, but they won't rev past 65 RPM. Now, looking at the Powerglides, if your car is gutted like bare metal, runs on like diet race gas, and just only sees the street when it's on a trailer, the Glide is basically just weapon of choice. This is for like the stripped out like sub 3,000 pound featherweights, like gutted Foxbody Mustangs, like the older Camaros, lightweight S95s, Fairmounts, like classic Chevy Novas, and dedicated dragsters. When your car is that light, you don't need leverage, you just need to stop the tires from going up in smoke. And that 1.80 gear, first gear, tames it and launches it perfectly. You pair a Glide with like a high revving massive horsepower engines, and you have a fully built aluminum LS block like a Dart Block 427 making 1200 horsepower with twin turbos or a massive hit of nitrous. The Glide is just mandatory. With that much power in like a lightweight car, managing the hit is the only way you can make it down the track safely. Plus, like a high revving LS has like an RPM range to handle like the big RPM drop when like the Glide finally shifts into a higher gear. At the end of the day, picking between like a Turbo 400 and Powerglide has absolutely nothing to do with brand loyalty and everything to do with physics. Just match the gearing to your car's weight, match the strength to your horsepower, and just buy whatever good torque converter you can find. Do that and your build will live like a long, fast life. Thank you guys for watching so much. Drop a comment below and tell me what you guys are running. Are you guys Team 400 or Team Glide? We will see you in the next one on Torque Savvy. Peace.